No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today we have my good friend Spiegler. How you living, man?
Okay, so far.
Yeah, it's good to have you in here. You come with one of the most interesting stipulations I've ever witnessed when it comes to getting an interview in.
That I always have to answer my phone?
You always pick your phone up at all times, no matter what. Where does that come from? What is it? You have a certain level of dedication.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want the girls to miss a job, because I didn't answer the phone.
Right. But I mean, when you're working in such a world as the adult entertainment industry, I'm going to try to avoid using the 4-letter P word just for demonetization's sake. But when you work in such a field, it feels like you are working with so many people that have such interesting personal lives and could be liable to call you at any time.
Oh, I get calls literally any time. I mean, I get calls at 5 in the morning, somebody's sick. I get calls from companies like, 6 in the morning, somebody didn't show up.
Right.
And also I get calls from Europe and Asia sometimes, and they don't think about the time difference, so they call. But we're famous for always answering the phone.
Even when you're sleeping?
Oh, yeah. I don't answer emails, but I'll answer text messages and phone calls no matter what.
Damn, I just find that so impressive. Like a lot of times when people will ask me why I haven't gotten into the business of managing rappers, and I feel like my reason for not wanting to manage rappers is pretty much the same reason that I wouldn't want to manage adult entertainment stars, but it just so happens that like they're probably way more of a handful, and you have a whole roster.
I don't know, they're not shooting each other. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of personality, and by the way, I can't hear anything. I don't know if this thing's working.
Oh, you can't hear anything?
It just went out.
Jesus Christ! You can just not wear the headphones or something if that's better. We're having real nightmares.
Hi.
My girlfriend Lana probably just walked in. She's on your list of clients you're trying to take on this year?
She doesn't know.
Spiegler's on her.
By the way, we never recruit girls.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that process of how a girl goes from just a regular girl to being signed with you.
Usually they contact us. We never recruit and we never advertise anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we only take usually about 30 girls.
A year or
no?
At a time?
At one time, yeah. And I don't know if you know my background. Where I retired when I was young, and I got into this kind of by accident.
Yeah.
So we don't need the money. I don't need the money. I get most of it away, and so I'm not going to deal with like a ton of girls.
Right.
And the girls know it, so they know we could drop them anytime.
Right.
I'm pretty strict, like on myself, but also on the girls. Answering your phone, showing up on time. I've been doing this officially since like '99. Uh-huh. I did it before, but we've only had 3 girls ever miss a shoot.
It's probably the last job that I could ever imagine somebody doing as just a labor of love. But you seem like you're like the Craigslist of the adult entertainment industry. You're not trying to turn a profit. You just like it.
I don't know. Some people ask me why I do it, and I don't know. But you can't do nothing. And I got in this originally by lending people money to shoot movies, and then I started producing them. And then a guy from France brought a girl and said at the AVN said. Hey, can you help her get work? And I knew everybody. So I took her around. She got jobs, and she sent her friends, and and that's how it started.
So you said you retired early. What were you doing in your early life that allowed you to amass such a fortune?
I was first I started working when I was 12 and saving money, and then I started investing in stocks when I was 13.
What did you invest in that was so powerful?
Well, one of the best ones was Apple Computer. When the stock market crashed in 1987, the day of the crash, it went from like $56 a share to 29 3/8. It actually took a couple. Back then, there was no, now they call them day traders. Back then, there was no electronic buying or selling. So
can you just get a little closer to the mic if possible?
So back then, you had to actually get a broker on the phone. When the market crashed, it took like a couple of days.
Right.
But when it crashed, Apple Computer had $36 a share in the bank. No debt. A lot of assets. Even if they closed the next day, everybody's freaking out. I would have made a profit.
Right.
But I bought a bunch of Apple Computers then. But I bought stuff before that. I retired years before that, but that's the biggest money maker.
So you were retired by what age?
22.
22. Yeah. But how much money did you think, like, For me, if I wanted to be retired right now, I mean, I'm going to need what, like 10 million plus in the bank?
10 million, not a lot of money.
I know, but I'm trying to think of like a reasonable amount that I might be comfortable retiring with. 10
Well, I
million's
mean,
like shit.
10 million now is probably like 20 million when I was,
Right.
22. But I don't know. I mean, just that I don't live fancy. And when I was first doing this, I did have a house, and the girls were, they started moving into it.
Right.
And I thought, oh, girls are moving, and then these girls are pigs. For real.
Define pigs. They're
really
just messy?
They're pigs.
You think that's a woman thing or a
no, I think it's a porn star thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Irresponsible. I remember in the 80s, I've been around, the first year I was around this business was 1985. And there was a porn star named Holly Body, and I went to her house, and there was cigarette butts on the floor and food and this and that, and I think it's pretty much a point. They make a lot of money, they don't care, and they're
No, when I think about it, there's definitely adult girls that I've hung out with. When I say adult, I mean adult stars or whatever, who have had outrageously disgusting homes. I don't know what it is.
And so I got rid of my house because you start, and I thought, okay, they're messy, and then when it gets really messy, no. Then I had to hire cleaners to come in. But then what I did, it was freaking me out because they were ruining the house.
Right.
So then I got rid of that, and I got a large 3-bedroom place apartment in Woodland Hills, and they were moving in there. But even that place, when I moved about 4 years ago out of that place, I don't know if you know who Jesse Andrews is.
Yeah.
So I literally called 1-800-GOT-JUNK and had them take everything out of there and throw it away.
Right.
And I went with Jesse to Living Spaces and gave her like 20 grand and said, just buy all the furniture for the new place.
Right.
All it took was my clothes and stuff, and that was it. But they ruined that. I mean, I had 7 fires in that apartment. Caught one on tape. Oh, yeah.
7 fires due to these girls?
Fumigated once.
In how many years?
11.
What were the fires being caused by?
Girls cooking.
Cigarettes, maybe?
No, cooking.
Cooking, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I had an old microwave, and a girl just put like chicken. It didn't have a timer. She'd turn it on in her room and start talking on the phone, and that caught fire. I had another time. I had a girl actually break the windshield on my car one day, and it was bulletproof.
What?
But and then she came home and started a fire because she goes, oh, I'll cook for you. And then I was in my room way at the end of the hall, and the house is full of smoke. And I'm like, is something burning? And she's like, no. And I came out, and I mean, the house is full of smoke. And I'm like, and I went in the kitchen. There was this chicken frying in a pan. And I went, whoa, and I opened the garbage, and I can't find anything. And I went and opened the sliding glass door to let the smoke out. She said, no. And there was a pan of chicken on fire, and she just put it out on the balcony and went back to cooking.
What the fuck? So okay, so you retire, per se, at a young age. You got a good amount of money. And then just for the audience, I recently listened to another interview that you did, so I'm a little bit more clear on it. But trace the steps between retiring and then when you first start helping out your first adult star.
Well, I didn't do anything for years and years. And then a guy who grew up with my cousin was a director, like in the 70s and 80s and 90s, I guess. And so I went to set with him a few times in the 80s. And
just as a friend? Just as a friend? Or?
Yeah, just and at that point, I wanted to see porn.
Right. Were you the kind of guy who was sort of enamored with this world or with the girls?
Yeah, but only like when I was a kid, you had to go to a movie. I used to go to, I grew up right in this neighborhood by Fairfax and Sunset. And I had to go to, but when I was a little kid, I grew up Cruzon in Santa Monica. And I used to go by the Pussycat Theater every day on the way to school. And so, I mean, when I was a kid, you had to go to a movie theater to see porn.
Would you jerk off in the movie theater?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you jerk off? No, that's too much.
Yeah.
Because you could get in trouble for that. Pee Wee Herman had his whole career ruined over that.
Name 3 people that were shot in the back of the head. 3 famous Americans. Lincoln.
Right.
Kennedy. And the guy sitting in front of Pee Wee Herman in the movie theater. Yeah.
I really didn't know where you're going with
that. But no, and then, but I wanted to see it. I mean, after the first 2, it was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. And now, I never watch porn.
I mean,
I've even like Riley Reid in them. I've never seen a Riley Reid scene.
You never seen it?
No, Austin Care, none of them.
Wow. See,
I might have seen like if they have a little thing posted on their Twitter.
Right.
But
I was never. I was a Riley Reid fan before I did her interview and became friends with her. But now it feels like I'm much more likely to meet a girl in real life before I hear about her and go search out her scenes. You know.
Yeah, no, and the thing is also I know like half of it's kind of fake and this and that, and they're stopping and starting, saying the fans at home just seeing it like straight through.
Right. So you had just been to the studio or
and
to
then
the set.
that guy like was in the '80s, and then in the '90s, back then there was no digital cameras, so if you shot stuff, it was like on these big beta cams and stuff. And that guy came to me to produce, like to put up the money for shoots. And I shot 3 movies with him, and then I realized, like, really the camera guy was the guy shooting the movies. This guy was kind of a hack. And, like, he was always in the makeup room with the girls rather than shooting the movie. So I went to the camera guy, and I said, hey, you want to produce some stuff? And I put up money for him, and I was producing them. And then I did almost like 100 features, and this guy came from France with this really hot girl and asked me if I could help her get work. And like I said, I knew everybody. I took her around. She made a lot of money. She sent her friends. I helped them out. And like for the first couple of years, I was doing it for free. And then they were sending more and more. And then it got to be like a lot of work. So that's when I said, oh, I'll make a business out of it.
Right. And so, yeah, did you feel like that was something, you know, because it's interesting to go from retired, really, like just effectively doing whatever you want, to then all of a sudden taking care of this large roster
Well, it
of
happened
girls.
slowly because it wasn't a large, first of all, we don't have a ton of girls now, but even then it was like, you know, a few at a time. I started with this other guy. I told him, a guy that I had gotten into business before, I said, hey, you know, I'm going to start doing this. You want to do it with me? And he's like, okay, but he kept his regular job. And after a week, he had to give it up but we only had like, it was called Top Models first. And we had like 10, 12, I think 15 girls at the most at the time.
Right.
And so it wasn't, you know, it was like work, but not overwhelming. Now, like I said, 30 is about the most I could handle.
How many employees do you have now?
How many what?
Employees.
One, but he doesn't really do anything.
Really?
He'll tell you.
You don't feel like there's a certain extent to which you could be building this out so that like somebody else could be helping you and you wouldn't have to be picking up the phone in the middle of the night?
No. Because nobody, like, it's kind of like a boutique kind of thing. Nobody is going to be as dedicated as other agents have even said, oh, I want to be like Speigler or something. But they're not going to answer the phone at 3 in the morning, and they're not going to. I mean, I double check and triple check everything, and I make sure everybody's tested and this and that. And you know, it's like anything. You could build it bigger, but the quality is not going to be the same.
I know a girl who was working with you for a period of time, and then all of a sudden you let her go. And like from my perspective, I was just like, you know, whoa, like what's going on with her? Like I was worried.
Was that recently or way back?
Relatively recently, yeah.
Oh,
and I was
start with a G.
Huh? Yes, I was a little worried though. I'm like, what's she got going on that Spiegler let her go? Because I know that that being signed with you is such a prestigious thing that realistically, like almost no girl is going to walk away from working with you unless it's forced upon them, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like the last one left was like maybe 2-3 years ago, and that was because another agent. We don't represent guys,
right?
And she had a boyfriend who was kind of like a mope, you know, not like and the agent said, oh, if you come with us, we'll get him work. Which she went with them, and they don't really get him that much work. But before that, like maybe one will leave every 3-4 years.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, you could, you know, I don't know if Gina, if you know, asked, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
she
tell
knows.
her out, why not? why did that particular relationship not work out?
I mean, I love it. I still hang out with Gina, but she's just not, you know, she's very Brazilian. Not like super dedicated to getting up on time and showing up on time and this and that. And our girls are known for being like super reliable and, you know, always showing up and you know, and also because they get a lot of work. Our girls work more than anybody. They get paid more than anybody. But like a lot of these companies, Brazzers and Kink and whatever, they book our girls out of town a lot because they know they will get on the plane, they'll show up, this and that. And if I tell the girls, you got 3 jobs with us. There's a fucking and sucking, and then there's 2 tough ones. Don't make me look bad, and don't give me shit to worry about. So if I have to worry about stuff, that's it.
But it's interesting. Would you say the average person who gets into your job role is doing it because they're really horny? Because you don't really seem like that type. And I've talked to plenty of girls. I'm like, Spiegler's, he's not like that. They're like, nope, no.
No, I mean, first of all, it's not a good idea to shit where you eat. I only went out with one porn girl. That was like in the maybe early 2000s.
You gave her a few tries on dates or what?
I went out with her, but also, first of all, even if you're not, if you pay more attention to one girl than the others, they get upset. I won't carry a girl's luggage. I won't this or that because they, So if you're dating one, even if I was dating a girl that's not in porn, they don't like it. It's true,
right? Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's but a lot of people get into this. First of all, a lot of male talent get into this because they're losers and can't get laid in real life.
Myself included, yeah.
Yeah, but serious that if you see like some of these people in real life, they'd be. But a lot of the agents, I think a lot of them really get into it because they think there's going to be a fortune, a ton of money, and it's really easy.
Right.
And I mean, like some of the smaller agents, for them it might be what they consider a ton of money, and they don't have to. A lot of them get shit wrong and this and that. But if you get like some high girls, people still want to hire them. So for them, they're making way more than they would in an office job and not really straining themselves.
Right. It's interesting for a lot of people. They might not really understand that you're the agent. So you work directly with the girls, and then these adult companies, whether it's Vixen or, Pornhub Brazzers, whoever, they come to you and they basically rely on you to make these shoots happen. That's like
they count on. I mean, that's like some agents they won't work with, or other ones. Like I remember saying, this guy fucked something up, and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to call him and straighten it out." And I called Brazzers first. I go, "This guy's going to call you, straighten it out, but don't answer." They go, "We don't talk to the guy on the phone. He's on a need to text basis because he fucks up so much. They want it in black and white." But the fact that we do, like I said, I double and triple check when the testing. I tell the girls the day before they have to get tested. First of all, our girls always have an overlapping test. The test never expires. But I always tell them the day before, you have to get tested tomorrow. Then I tell them that day you have to get tested.
Is this all in your head, or do you have like a calendar update that reminds you? Yeah. And
I schedule it in there for them. And, things are moving around all the time. It's like, a matrix. But, so I got to always make sure they got a good test. And when some people in porn, I'll get the info for the girl shoot like the day before or not even till the night before. And I send it to them, make sure they get it. But if I get it like some of the bigger companies, I'll get it a few days before. I send it to the girl. I'll still double check. I have a double checking. You have tomorrow's info. I even double and triple, and also the little details that matter. They need black heels for this. They want your nails French manicured. You forget that, you screw up the whole shoot. I've only made 15 mistakes since 1999.
And what are how big does it have to be for you to consider it a mistake?
Well, like sending a girl to shoot and say, tell her makeup is there and she was supposed to do her own makeup.
Right.
But it didn't mess up the shoot. But still, I don't like to make mistakes.
I have so much respect for that because, like, for instance, I just did an interview. I thought that interview was Thursday, so I was like sitting around on Thursday, and then I finally realized I had to check my email. Boom, nope, it's Saturday. Just a regular day in the life, just fucking stuff up. Have you always had that kind of mind state where you're just like really focused and really organized?
I mean, I don't know when I was younger, but like now, I mean, it's for. It's being professional, and also like, the girls count on us, but also the companies count on us and that's why they use our girls are really good, but that's also another reason why they use our girls a lot is because like I had like kink.com when they were in San Francisco. I booked girls with them 1,100 times and they have to get on a plane, fly to Oakland, get on a van, We've only had 3 girls in that whole time that missed a flight. And out of those 3, 2 were on the next flight and still made it in time. 1, there was no next flight to Oakland, so I made her get her own flight to San Francisco directly and take a cab there. But out of the 1,100 of them, 1,100 of them made it.
See, I mean, it's just such a rare quality to see somebody who takes a job that it seems like most people don't have this attitude towards, and then just does such a ridiculously good job of that job, and also where it seems like you're willing to just go the extra mile in situations where you probably don't really have to, where the porn company would be forgiving. You know, in a situation as a business owner, you're always trying to balance in your head like the risk versus the cost that you're going to be taking, and it seems like you are so one-sided in your dedication to being perfect.
Do it right, and the girls are going to do it right. So,
what kind of girl catches your eye? What does a girl need to have to become part of the team?
Like I said, we want them to be good looking. I want the girl to be a pervert, because I want them to be doing this not just for the money, but because that's really what they're into. Have
you seen that where you have girls come in and then they're genuinely not that excited about having sex and it just doesn't last?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, should I?
Yes. Air it out.
Like Lana Rhodes or something? No.
Oh yeah, Lana Rhodes. Yeah. I have heard she's.
But I mean, Lana Rhodes is like, and I'm not a big fan, but I'll say that she's one of the hottest girls in porn, probably. Oh, she was.
But she's not really a pervert.
No, I mean, I don't think she really. She just thought she was gonna scam a bunch of people, make a bunch of money, and that would be it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what she's talking about.
But when you say scam,
like when she was living in my place, she lived in my building. She's like, I'm fostering dogs. Send me stuff for dogs. And she had one dog, but she just didn't want to buy it stuff. And
right.
And she thinks the fans are dumb and they're gonna, you know.
Oh, so she made kind of a messy exit there.
Well, yeah, we dropped her. I don't know if you know.
No, I know. But when you look at like,
she didn't show up for a party she was supposed to be at, and she was doing something that she shouldn't be at that time, but didn't know that I knew, and that was the end of that.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I mean, it's just great to know that you have such a dedication to the craft. When you say that you want a girl to be a pervert, though, have you had girls where you thought that they were the right amount of pervert, but then you found out that they were actually like way too much of a pervert, just a little bit too grimy?
No, I mean, I'll take, and also another thing that's important for me is I want them to be smart, which you take a hot chick, and if they're smart, they're way hotter than me. And if they're a pervert and all that stuff, that's like a pervert. I mean, there's like, we have some girls that would be doing this for free. I wouldn't let them do it for free, but they'd be doing it for, you know, this is kind of, you know, what they're, you know. I had a girl, I don't know if you watch a lot of porn, you know who Annette Schwartz was? She was like one of the dirtiest, filthiest whores, and I mean in the most loving way possible.
Right.
I mean, like a lot of the male town were afraid to work with her.
Really?
Yeah, 6 foot tall, German. She was the hardest core chick in the history of porn.
Scared to work with her? She was just too aggressive?
She injured a lot of guys.
Really?
Yeah.
I
said she was on set. She tore some guy's toenail off during the scene.
What?
Yeah.
With her teeth or something?
I have no idea. I didn't even want to know.
Whoa! I never would have ever even considered that. That sounds amazing.
But that chick, yeah,
Somebody told me that we should be really careful if we ever came close to hooking up with Nicolette Shea, because she's just so ruthless.
She's crazy,
smashing up and down on the dick, that it might get injured. You know? But, no, yeah, she's a little crazy. Yeah,
yeah, she's out there. But I mean, I've never seen her do a scene.
Right.
But I've seen her in person a lot of times.
But you don't manage male talent. No interest.
They'd be way worse than girls.
Right.
They first of all, a guy, okay, a girl, a female needs you to get them started. Then if they do well, they're going to go for a while, and then they need you to keep them going.
Right.
A guy needs you to get them started, and then if they're any good, they, you know, like I helped, like Tony Rebus, Manuel, and a bunch of them when they first came to America.
Right.
Steve Holmes, a lot of. But if they're good, they don't really need an agent. You know, they could be 45 years old and still working, no problem.
Right.
Or Steve Holmes probably older than that. But so guys don't really, you know, they're not going to listen. They think they know everything after. I mean, some girls think they know everything after 6 months, but they come to realize they don't.
I was describing you earlier to one of my employees, and he said, man, he sounds like basically the most official legal pimp ever.
I've actually said that myself, and people got, what?
So they also got you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She dedicated a snow globe to him, and she put, like, for the #1 pimp with love on.
Yeah.
Some asset carrier gave him a snow globe that said to the #1 pimp.
Yeah. But
pimping is illegal, though. Let's draw a line in the sand.
Well, there's a differentiation between porn and prostitution.
Do you mind when your girls escort?
I don't like them doing it because personally, I'm a libertarian. I think drugs should be legal and escort, but I don't want the girls really doing it because then they're not going to do that's where you're gonna the chick's not answering her phone, she's not this, she's not that, and that gets to be a problem.
Right, especially if they were doing it a lot, huh? And that's the thing with you is that you're super demanding. You want a girl who's down to work how many days? 6-7 days a week?
I mean, each girl. Here's the thing: when we get it like a new girl, slowly work them up to see what they can. I mean, like in a Bella Danger, she can work 14 days a week, but still, I wouldn't let them do that. Like 5 is because also I don't think it's good for the girl. I don't think it's good for your immune system. Even girls like that German girl I told you about, she literally wanted to work like a couple times in the early 2000s. You could work twice a day, but you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get your BV. They're gonna get yeast infections. They'll also, your immune system's down. You'll get, gonorrhea easier and chlamydia and this and that if you're overworked. And in the end, it's gonna, maybe cost you money or it might even out. So why not give them some days off? When Riley first started with me, she would work 6 days a week and have 1 day off. And then she started a website and she was, working 4 days a week doing real porn, or mainstream porn, and a couple days like on her website and then a day off or so. Now she's doing like a lot more with her web and this and Snap, so she works basically 2 days a week. Though I do have her booked until March.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the health of the adult industry, like from your perspective right now versus you say in the early 2000s? Was that the real heyday before the internet really took over?
I think, as Carly Simon once said, these are the good old days. People like, oh, I remember those days and DVD sales. But if the companies that are doing it properly, digital, monetizing it and stuff, are making way more. There's way more money in porn right now than there ever was then. I mean, there's billions and billions more than there was then. Back then, if you had a DVD company, a lot of those people like decry the end of, the era. But I mean, like, girls like her are making a ton of money, you're not working as much as, the other girls are. And if you know what you're doing, and that's pornography. A lot of people don't think of that as porn.
Right.
The porn business. But that is. And a porn business, girls webcamming at home and, people streaming stuff on Pornhub and so there's a lot more money in it now.
Is there a part of you that wants to support the adult industry because of the fact that you are just a libertarian and you think that this is how things should play out and that sex workers should have rights and be able to do whatever they want? Is that part of it? I think
my stand is pretty much everybody should be able to do whatever they want as long as they don't interfere with anyone else.
And you're over here facilitating it.
Yeah, I am.
I like that.
I mean, I said I was a legal pimp in like the 90s, and people got on my case because I said it on the internet. But though California differentiates prostitution from porn because in prostitution you have person A paying person B for sexual gratification. In porn you have a company A paying person B and C. The person paying has no interest in sexual gratification. So that, that's legally the difference.
Do you ever either actually see or just hear about the fallout from stuff like, DVDs or just people in general try to make porn look like this inherently anti-woman thing? Is that something that you resent, or like how do you feel when you hear about this sort of narrative?
You got to admit some of it is anti-woman, but most of it isn't. And also there's kind of a pendulum that swims back and forth, and like in the early, like 2006, got really Max Hardcore and Rob Black and all these people, and it was like really degrading. And then it's kind of swung more. The stuff that's really selling now is the vanilla kind of, Brazzers and stuff, Naughty America and those kind of things where it's not that degrading. I mean, of course, it's all in the eyes of the beholder saying what they think it is. But, and from this beholder, I don't think it's that bad now.
Right. Do you feel as if how do you feel when something is coming down the pipeline like the condom regulation?
Well, like I said, I'm a libertarian.
Right.
And also, I mean, A, I don't think that's necessarily that good for you, and B, there's a lot of girls that don't want to work with condoms.
Right.
Riley won't work with condoms, and a lot of girls, it irritates them, and they just, don't want to work with them, and that's fine with me as long as, they know. I mean, that's another thing is like if girls approach me, and they've never shot porn before, I tell them, and we try to talk them out of it.
You tell them all the negative stuff
Oh
up
yeah,
front.
I tell them you're gonna get gonorrhea and you're gonna get chlamydia and you're gonna have to work with ugly, smelly guys and ugly, smelly girls. No, for real.
That's what they need to regulate is the smelliness. They need to buy everybody deodorant. I don't know if it would work.
But they, and that, there's a possibility you get HIV. It's very small, but I mean, it's like it's a real business, and if you want to do it right, you have to build a brand and treat it like a real business. And I mean, Riley's done really good at that.
Right. How do you feel about the advent of the private Snapchat porn girls or the people like Riley who have their own website? Does that take away from your business? Is that something
It might, yes, in a little short term, but not really, because most of those girls are still working. And I mean, personally, I don't care that much. I mean, because I want them to succeed after their mainstream porn career. And I want them, to be able to make a ton of money. Of course, I don't. I'm an economist. That's my degree, and I try to get them all to save their money or put it away or whatever. But if it impacts my business, I don't care that much.
Right. You're going to be doing
it. And also, those girls will tend to last longer too in the business. The ones that are monetizing and doing well. And if they're smart, like Riley can quit doing mainstream porn right now, no problem.
Right.
But you still want to remain relevant, so you do some of it.
Right. It's interesting to me that you've reached such heights of success doing that's one sliver of what has to be done in the industry, and that you never really felt the need to go out there and create your own like website, identity. What is it that made you want to get really, really good at this one role, as opposed to like, I'm sure that I think that you are the kind of guy who has like the know-how and the intelligence to create like your own browsers or whatever like that. Has that never occurred to you?
No,
that you
I've had
to...
a bunch of people offer like to expand,
right?
Spiegler, but like. The one guy that worked for me, George, a whole 4 hours a week.
He still works for you.
Yeah,
4 hours a week.
He gets the Spiegler girls' money.
Right.
But usually on Fridays he goes to the bank. I mean, he goes to the P.O. box and gets all the checks, deposits the bank, comes over to my house, writes himself a check, and that's basically all I see of him.
When I was listening to Asa Akira interview you in a car driving to Vegas, George called you like 2 to 3 times throughout the course of that hour. So
because he was following this.
Right. Well, my employees don't call me.
Him once a night. His job is to call me around 9 or 10 and go over all the shoots for the next day, and then once in a while, like if we get a new girl like Gia Durs or whatever that don't drive yet, he'll have to drive them.
Oh, okay.
But when I was first doing this, all our girls were European. None of them drove or wanted to drive in America. So I would have to, and him would have to drive all these girls every day. Like 1 year, I put like 72,000 miles on the car just driving the girls.
Holy shit.
Now there's Uber and all that stuff. But the new girls, I don't want them to, they don't know the addresses yet, the houses and this and that, where the shoots are. So I don't want them to get lost and freak out or whatever. So if they're brand new and they don't drive, George will take them.
You really do have a dad-esque mentality.
That's what the girls say. I used to have a girl named Lorelei Lee, who was like a famous writer and is actually going to law school right now. And she said it's like a dysfunctional family.
Right.
Where I'm like the dad and they're all the little kids.
Yeah, because when I think about it, like if I was operating a business and some girl had to come to this building or whatever, it's like what is my mentality going to be on her getting to the building? My mentality is going to be, here's the address, figure it out, here's the phone number you call, that will help you figure it out, that's it. But say it was your daughter, you would be very caring. You would describe in detail. You would try to like really, guide her through, make the phone calls you need, send somebody to help her if need be.
No, and also like when we have girls that are new, you tell them this is like this guy is like likes this and this guy likes that, and then you tell them all about the shoots and people they're working with and stuff, so that they feel more comfortable going in and there's no surprises. I mean, in the long run, that's better for me too.
Right.
There's no surprises. But yeah, like I said, when they're new, like there's a lot of locations in the business that people use all the time.
Right.
And once the girl's been there 10 times, they can find it. But other times, like she had to go to a place on Reseda the other day, and I've never been there, and she so I had George take her to make sure she got there and inside. And also, like, the companies appreciate that too, because the girls show up.
Right. Definitely. I had a girl who's in the adult industry on this podcast recently who told me that she really wanted that she had actually told her agent that she wanted him to find a dude to take a dump on her. Are you the kind of guy who could facilitate that kind of thing, or is that totally outside the realm of? No. You don't have any connects in Brazil or anything besides Gina?
I'm sure you could take a girl if you really needed to down to downtown LA and get somebody to do it for $10, but yeah.
Downtown, yeah. There's definitely a lot of dudes trying to take a shit for $10. No, yeah, but she was saying that her agent was telling her that she would probably have to go to Germany.
I guess no. I mean, also that would not be really good for your reputation if you try to build a.
Oh, really? Anything? Yeah. I couldn't believe she even said it on this podcast. No. Shocking. I'll give you a name later. Don't worry. It went viral. There was like I saw a clip of it on Twitter that had 1 million
you said
views.
She said it on there. Well.
Yeah, and everybody was just so excited
about it.
You
could say her name.
Yeah, the poop emoji was just out in the comments. Like,
who was it? You said she said
name, that's the problem.
Violet. Violet. What was
Violet
it?
Saucy.
Violet Saucy is her Twitter name.
Never heard.
Violet. I forget her real last name though. In real life.
But she said it on your show.
She aired it out.
It's not private.
It's definitely not private. No spoilers here. But you famously will only work with a girl if she does anal. Are there any other stipulations?
Not only,
Really?
But they gotta be willing to do it in the future, and you can always figure out if they're gonna do it.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Well, she would have gotten around to it.
Who?
Carly
Gray.
Yeah.
Right. She never
did
did
it. She was about
it.
to, and then
She went and made a baby.
It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram.
No, that's not a
we
spoiler.
had 4 of them have kids like over a period of like 3 months last year.
Really? Is that a nightmare? Like normally people are pretty happy for a girl when she gets pregnant. For you, it's like, God damn it.
The thing is, honestly, we have like a lot of girls want to be on the site. So if one of them leaves, it's like I have a bunch waiting to get on there now, and I need space. So if one of them leaves, it sounds kind of cold-hearted, but they're replaceable.
Right. Damn. But so yeah, if a girl reaches out to you, but then she's not down to do anal, what is your attitude, or how can you tell?
They better be like Lana Rhodes looking. And she ended up doing it too. But no, the thing is, I ask them a bunch of questions. Like I said, I want to be a pervert. But like I tell girls all the time, when I ask you a question, it's not the answer, it's the moment before the answer.
What do you
so
mean?
you say to the girl, do you do anal? No. Will you ever do anal? No. Then they will.
Right.
But will you ever do it? No. What? 10 grand. Would you do something for 10 grand? No. Yeah, they will.
Right.
But if they Jenna Sativa, she started. Would you do guys? No. Would you do a guy for 10? No. Like right away. She's never gonna do a guy.
So you knew she was real.
Yeah.
Right.
But most of them also, even if they say no in the beginning, they're hanging out with all our girls who are talking about anal and douches and enemas and this and that, and eventually to them it's like, I don't know why I thought it was a big deal, and they end up doing it anyway.
And talk to girls all the time too who seem to think that anal is actually better than doing vaginal because there's less bacteria, the's less crazy stuff.
I had girls when I was first in this business saying that, and I didn't believe it, but I'm not a anal kind of guy. But someone say, it's better than vag, and I guess it's true. I mean, a lot of them prefer the anal.
Do you have a sort of similar mentality when it comes to stuff like double penetration? Is that like a must if a girl really wants to go far in the industry?
Well, they don't have to, but also a lot of the girls have said, of their own volition, that they prefer, once they've done it, they prefer the DP to the anal.
Right.
I mean, you tell that to a new girl, and they're like, nah. But like I said, I remember I was in a Uber ride to the Pornhub Awards.
Uh-huh.
And just the crap that was coming out of these girls' mouths, one talking, and the Uber guy was like from Russia. We had 10 girls in the car.
Oh, man.
And he's like, and I was cleaning out, and I crapped all over this, and this guy fucked me in the ass, and I was blowing it. And to them, but the girl's like, it's kind of like a little family, but they hang out. I guess if they don't want to do anal in the beginning, after a while they just, why not? It's not a big deal. They're all it becomes normalized.
It might seem like a big deal when you're on the outside world, but once you get deep into the industry, then it's just the most normal thing in the world.
Like I tell the girls, anal is just like riding a bicycle, only without the seat.
But there's the whole cleaning process and everything.
I don't even want to know about that. They tell each other. I don't even want to know about that.
Yeah. It just seems so unlikely that a guy who's not terribly interested in watching porn or banging all the girls would end up in a position of such power. But I guess
might be able to do a better job. It's like being a doctor. If you look at it clinically, you're not personally involved in whatever, you might be able to do a better job.
Yeah, I feel like being a gynecologist would probably ruin vaginas for me for sure.
I don't know, you might appreciate some better than the others, yeah.
No, definitely. You can appreciate the structural integrity. No, but I mean, that's the same thing with me interviewing all these rappers. It's like once you really know what's going on in the music industry, it becomes kind of hard to just see a song for a song. It's not just, oh, that sounds nice. No, you start thinking about, oh, so the label put this guy with this guy because they wanted to, it adds a lot more texture to it.
No, there's a lot of that, here too. That's why, who's put with whom in what movie and at what time of the year and why. And, because a lot of people are vying for like awards and, so you always why. There's always like politics behind politics behind politics.
What are your thoughts on the dynamics of like the interracial thing where girls get into the industry and they maybe don't want to do that? Is that still the standard?
Not really. I mean, I've only had, I think, one girl that never did interracial. And that was because she was Italian and her family would kill her. But usually it's just that they don't want to, do it. But also, like, unlike other agents or other models, we don't charge extra.
You don't?
For no.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just industry standard.
No.
So do you think that there's a large percentage of the fans that are going to be bothered by a girl doing interracial these days?
Here's the thing. I tell a girl, if you start doing IR, a bunch of your fans are going to start calling you names, but you will gain a much larger segment of fans for doing interracial.
Yeah, all the black guys, number one, are going to, if you never sleep with a black dude, all these black guys are going to be looking at her like, fuck her. Like, what the hell is her problem?
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, can you imagine being a black guy and you're the director and you're the talent, and the girl wants more to work with you?
Right. There it goes. Has Viagra had a negative impact on the game or in terms of the male talent?
I don't know because I don't know who's taking it, but I'm sure most of them are. And then also, a lot of guys are shooting their dicks up.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
I saw that on behind the scenes once, like 10 years ago. I would never. I mean, I don't mind getting my blood drawn or whatever, but I could never stick myself with a needle in the arm, let alone in the dick.
Right.
But I seen it once, and I don't know how they could do that. And then a lot of guys doing that end up having to get implants because the scar tissue builds up. Right. And eventually, that's not working.
Wow. Scary stuff. I can see why you don't want to work with the male talent.
And whenever anybody asks who's on our girls' no list, I say basically me. But we're not big on no lists either.
How important you're not big on no lists. You try to stay away from that?
You got to be professional. I mean, unless somebody did something really wrong.
Right.
Whatever.
Girls use the no list as kind of a way to be petty.
As I used to tell London Keys, and she would always say back to me, this is not a dating service.
Right.
So that's...
But I mean, there's got to be some dudes out there who have done stuff that's so offensive to the girls that they're just not into it.
Not really. I mean, there's like back in his time, Max Hardcore, but we would never book girls with Max Hardcore.
Right.
And
I remember seeing that in high school and being amazed, disgusted, so many emotions.
And that's not a good look for your career. And back then, Rob Black, they just have people doing really weird, crazy stuff. That's not good for you. So, but that's not a particular male talent. There's there's like a couple that creep the girls out a little. There is, and there's also like some that there's one male talent who's actually a decent male talent, but he's a big partier, and I don't want to be like some of these other agents where you're banned from working with our girls. But I tell people if they want to book this one particular guy with our girls, if he doesn't show up, if he shows up with a bad test, if he sneaks out in the middle of the scene, to
go do drugs or something?
Yeah, he did that to AJ Applegate. The guy I'm going to the bathroom and climbed out the window and left.
window.
So I told it, I won't ban him, but if he doesn't finish the scene with the girl, it's 100% kill fee. You want to hire the guy, you want to take a chance on it. If you don't make it to the thing, then you're going to pay the girl the whole rate.
You got to have an amazing dick to get away with that.
He's got a big dick and like it's a big cum shot, but still the guy's he's a meathead and a druggie.
Right. How important are the awards to you?
To me, I mean, it's good to have girls win a bunch of awards.
Just because it helps the business? Is that the only reason you care about it?
Yeah, for the girls to make. I mean, at one point, our girls win a way disproportionate share of awards.
I know. You've been accused of sort of cheating the system as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, but they hired an astrophysicist to figure out the odds that Spiegler girls would win the awards like 5 years in a row, and it was 1 in 1.048 million. But I hired that. I mean, I like I said, I'm an economist. I took statistics. According to the people that said that there's like 16 agents, which I don't think there is. But also, if you say 1 in 16 times 1 in 5 times, it's 1 in 1.048 million. But also when you do statistics, there's a Latin phrase, ceteris paribus, all other things remaining equal. The agents are not equal, the girls are not equal, the shoots are not equal. So, like I said, we try to plan out, we try to get the better girls in the better shoots, the ones that are kind of being shot for the awards and showcases and this and that. It's like not just booking them jobs, it's kind of an overall plan.
And I mean, you have the power to sort of market the girls in a sense, and I mean, doing that kind of survey, I could never really account for the fact that you are a person who has taste and you're going out of your way and you're doing it exactly how you want it to be done. It's not like this is some randomized thing.
No, and like I said, because of the fact that, I don't need the money and the girls know and they will show up on time, like if, Wicked or I don't know, some big companies doing a feature movie that they want up for the awards, they'll tend to hire our girls because they're well known, but they also will hire them because they know they will show up. If you have a feature, and usually our girls are the first on the call sheet because they don't want everybody to get behind and run late and stuff. So a lot of our girls get in there because they're good, but also because they're really reliable. Like I've only had, like I said, 3 girls ever flake on a shoot.
Right. That's amazing.
I mean, I had Asa. I remember when, by the way, about answering the phone all the time. When she started with me, I answered the phone 24 hours a day. And I remember she, like a month or two, and she got food poisoning. And she texted me at 4:45 in the morning. And she was surprised. I called her right back. And then I replaced her in the movie. But, the companies appreciate the dedication.
Right. Do you see yourself doing this until you croak, or when are you going to stop?
I mean, sometimes, it's psychologically, it helps the fact that I know that I don't have to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I could stop tomorrow. But also you can't do nothing. But, I mean, people ask when I'm going to retire, but I don't know, I'm just...
Having too much fun.
It's not always fun, but sometimes it is, but you just... And also, I'm responsible for all these girls.
Right.
Like their lives and their livelihoods. And it's more than just the jobs. They're calling me, boyfriend problems and this one and that one and, all kinds of crap, like all the time.
That's a nightmare for you.
It's like being a counselor.
When you find out that a girl got a boyfriend. Ugh.
Depends.
Yeah.
90% of the time it's terrible.
If it's a guy like me, you're like, okay, class act.
Well,
I'm into it.
I don't know how much you support the girl. I mean,
I support
some that really support the girls and the.
If my girlfriend was one of your girls, you would never have a complaint about me. I don't think. I might have a complaint about her fucking all these random ass dicks, but
most of the boyfriends of these girls are sitting at home smoking weed and playing video games all day.
Well, that's pretty much me.
You got out of the house today.
Just today, though. It was Saturday.
Yeah. But no, a lot of them, it's and also a lot of them are and know nothing about the business, but are giving them advice all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you should do.
And inevitably, they're always going to be like, "I don't want you getting gang banged anymore," right?
Eventually, yeah. But like I tell them, it's not a gang; it's a club.
Amazing, man. Yeah. So you don't have any particular things that you're working on outside of what you are mastering right now. That's what I find very interesting. Like, you're a guy who just seems very content to have completed a level of mastery with this one side of your business, and that you're just content with that, and you're going to continue to just be the man in that field.
That's what, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that we're kind of at the top of the field. And like even the other agents, like I said, so we want to be like you. But I know that unless they're answering the phone at 3 a.m, they're never going to be like us.
Right.
And they usually, they have the wife and a bunch of kids, or the girl, and they just, they. I remember some girl telling me she called her agent, and he's like, she had an emergency. She's like, oh, I'm taking a personal deal. I can't talk to you right now. I can't imagine doing that.
Right. Man, you sound like such a great communicator, because somebody like me, if somebody calls me, I feel no pressure to call them back. I mean, if I call them back 2 days later, I feel nothing. We're
never going to miss the call.
Right. You're never going to miss the call in the first place.
I could probably show you. I think the last voicemail I got is December year before last.
Wow. See, I mean, to put it in perspective, if I looked at my phone right now and Drake was trying to call me, I would put the phone back down. I would continue the interview, and then I would call Drake back, because there's almost nobody I give a fuck about them communicating with me enough that I would take myself away from the conversation I'm having right now. But I suppose I have a level of dedication to podcasting that is sort of akin to the level of dedication that you have to being a porn agent.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you have any hobbies outside of this? Anything you do just to relax? No? Walks on Malibu?
Yeah.
You go to walk by the beach?
Yeah.
That's
I used to
relaxing.
have a house up there years ago, which I shouldn't have got rid of, but and I miss it. I go to Malibu a few times a week. Yeah.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Young Nudie. If you don't say that, it's over.
Who?
Young Nudie?
No.
What's a good name for a guy like you? Young Nudie. Wait, have you heard him listen to it before?
I love him since 2016.
You love Young Nudie. I might be able to plug you in. You want to meet Young Nudie? All right. People have no idea who I'm speaking to. Hey man, this is something I've been looking forward to for a few years. I really appreciate you coming through and letting me pick your brain. One of the most essential cogs in this adult entertainment world that is just been absolutely devastated in the industry for all these years. It's amazing, man.
Thanks.
Much respect, and the fact that you don't seem so impressed by yourself, but I'm impressed.
I don't think it's that tough. I just think it's like being somewhat dedicated and doing things efficiently, and that's about it. Some people just don't care.
Yeah, probably a lot of people.
Can you tell everyone where you picked George up from?
Oh, he was my personal banker, the guy that works for me.
George was your banker.
Yeah, and I kept going in. He kept, give me a job, man. Give me a job. And the guy that used to help me drive the girls was the boyfriend of one of our girls, and they got in a fist fight one day. So I went in the back and I said, "Okay, you want a job? You start tomorrow."
Really? You were impressed that he got in a fist fight? Oh no, this guy got in a fist fight with somebody else.
No, there's the guy before him.
Right.
Got in a fist fight with a girl, and so he
with
was
a girl,
out.
damn.
And I went in the bank and I said, and I think he took like a week off from his job to see. He's like, I don't know, just real. And then the first year he worked with me, he made 3 times more than he made as a banker.
Right.
So.
Wow. I might have to get George on here someday.
Go ahead. Ask him, what did you do this week?
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you so much for coming in. Thank you. I think everybody out here, I mean, I can't tell you to go anywhere to check out his stuff, but when you're checking it
Spiegler.com.
right, there you go. But next time you jerk off, there's a very good chance that this man was involved in facilitating that nut hitting the tissue paper. So much respect. Thank you very much to Spiegler. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, IG, lendertheplug.com if you want to cop a really amazing private snap. Peace.